The idea of sacred groves isn't unique to one culture. From Scandinavia to India, from Greece to the Americas, people have long believed that certain places in nature are set apart, sanctified, powerful, alive. In ancient Greece, groves were dedicated to the gods, like Apollo, protected places where no one was allowed to cut the trees or hunt the animals inside. In Rome, they were called lucas, a term meaning sacred wood. The penalty for damaging one was severe because it meant offending the gods themselves. In India, sacred groves are still maintained today. They're known as sarna in tribal regions. Forests left untouched for centuries as offerings to local deities. Each tree, each stone, each sound of wind carries spiritual meaning. In West Africa, communities have long held forest shrines for ancestors and spirits and fertility gods, places that remain central to rituals even now. Across cultures and continents, the idea remains the same. Certain spaces in nature are alive, aware, and deserving of respect. In the Norse and Germanic worlds, groves were central to spiritual life. They were temples of stone. They were temples of living wood. The Roman historian Tacitus, writing nearly 2,000 years ago, described how Germanic tribes held their most sacred rituals not in buildings, but in forests. They believed the divine could not be confined within walls. Here they made sacrifices, animals, weapons, and sometimes even humans, to the gods of the land. The spoils of battles were hung from the trees, shields, swords, helmets, trophies offered to the unseen powers. For them, groves weren't just places of worship. They were the heart of the community and survival, where every oath, every celebration, and every burial began and ended. Even today, archaeologists uncover traces of these ancient sanctuaries, stone circle, wooden paths, and offerings buried in the soil. Proof that connection between humanity and nature was once deeply spiritual. Now, this grove in Oxford, North Carolina might seem far removed from ancient Europe or India, but its purpose hasn't changed much. People still come here, not to worship the gods, but to celebrate life. Festivals, music, food, laughter, gatherings that bring the community together under the same branches. And that's what's remarkable. Even without realizing it, we're still using these natural spaces the same way our ancestors did. Groves have always been places of connection between people and nature. There's something instinctive about it. When you stand in a grove surrounded by tall trees, light filtering through the leaves, ground soft with moss, you feel calm, you feel present, you feel part of something larger. Maybe that's why every culture, every generation keeps finding their way back to these spaces. So what makes a grove feel sacred? Some say it's the acoustics, how the sound travels differently under the canopy. Others say it's the light, how the trees filter sunlight into a golden glow. And for many, it's something spiritual, a sense that the air itself holds memory. In Nordic folk tradition, it is said that the spirits keep the undergrowth clear so people can walk freely. The gods want us here to see, to listen, to remember. The idea that nature opens itself for us appears in cultures all over the world. Maybe that's why they built the temples to mimic it. Tall pillars like trunks, vaulted ceilings like canopies, sunlight streaming through narrow spaces. Even our architecture remembers the forest. We live in an age of noise and screens, cities and speed, but to step into a grove and suddenly time slows down. You can hear your thoughts again. In a way, sacred groves remind us of something we've almost forgotten, that we don't stand above nature. We stand within it. And maybe that's the real message. These spaces don't connect us to gods or our ancestors. They connect us to ourselves. So the next time you walk beneath trees like these, stop, listen, because maybe the land still remembers you too. Do you have a grove near where you live? A place where people still gather for festivals, for rest, or just to breathe? Share your story in the comments because the world is still full of sacred groves